That's why I have it in there too.
Right. Okay. Peace to the gods and goddesses of the planet Kai. Peace, meaning positive energy, always creates elevation. We in here, reflexiations. Let's go. Let y'all get up in here. You know what's crazy? For the people that be watching the video back, when we wait for the class to start, I wonder if they just fast forward past that. Peace to the gods and goddesses of the planet Kai. Peace, meaning positive energy, always creates elevation. We live reflections. How you feeling? Welcome in, welcome in. Let y'all get up in here. All the way. This is going to be a great class. I'm going to talk about Yoda and the Elves. Who Yoda was and what he represented. Alright, so before we go, y'all know what we got to do. You know what we got to do first. We not doing nothing until we open it up right. So let's get the vibration set. Alright, so we're going to start off with the right energy. Y'all tripping already. Facts. No. Welcome in, welcome in. Y'all keep getting up, y'all keep coming in here. We going live. welcome in Reflexiations. Welcome to class. Today we're going to be talking about the elemental beings, specifically the Yoda. We'll talk about the Elves and the Gremlins and who the Yoda really are. Alright? But we have to set the frequency right. Before we go in, y'all, welcome to class, I see y'all steady coming in here. But look, before we go into this download, we have to set the frequency right. So every class I want to do this more often moving forward, just to get that balance, that frequency balance, sound healing. Alright? So I'll always either be playing our ancient flute or I'll be playing our ancient drums. Alright? You can look up the flute music under Native American music, because that's what they try to call it now. And you can look up our ancient drum patterns under the Orisha music. Alright, so between the drums and the flute, because of what it does specifically to the chakras, and the heart chakra to be exact, as well as the solar plexus. Alright, those two chakras, that's where all the power comes from. And we generating power, we healing right now, we're moving forward as a planet, as a people. Alright? So for us to tap into our full power, we have to first tap into not only the fire element within us, but the water element. And that water element deals with the emotion. Alright, this is what makes water signs very intuitive, very powerful, because the more you, not emotion, as in what we was taught, but the true emotion, not feelings, energetic motion, which is what emotion really stands for. They taught us feelings. But the energetic motions, that's a part of us, which is emotion. So this is how they tricked us into believing, more like magic, that emotions is feelings. Feelings were taught to us. Emotions are a part of the metaphysical you, the etheric you. Spirit and soul. Alright? The frequency that the energy within you maneuvers at, that's what music attacks. Energetic motion, which is true emotion. The energies, alright, that maneuver based upon the frequencies that you are on. Energetic motion. So it's a true emotion. We were taught feelings though, which clouds the soul. Alright? So let's set the frequency. to class. Welcome to class. Before we dive into this download, it's imperative that we open this up with the right spiritual energy. So first, let me start by saying peace to the gods and goddesses of planet Kai. Peace meaning positive energy always creates elevation. How y'all feeling this evening? November in their year of 2021. It's a beautiful time to be on the planet as she restores her balance and we lead this revolution. You know, watching our people unite, it's a process, but it's a beautiful process because it's happening one step at a time. And to see where we come from to where we are now in just a short amount of time as a whole is beautiful. Before we dive into this lecture, I want to thank the elders as always. So to those in the university 65 and over, I want to thank you for your patience. I want to thank you for your humility, your meekness to sit in here and listen to anything that I'm telling you, being that in the physical world, my avatar is younger than yours. However, that doesn't stop you from coming in here. You able to see past the veil and you able to see me past my avatar and into my soul and spirit to be able to even receive a download from somebody that's, you know, who they would say is younger than you, even though we know age and time isn't real. So thank you respectfully. To all my peers, those 20 in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, thank you for being a part of the university. Thank you for spreading the information. And it's not about me, it's us. Many of you reach out via email, DMs, thanking me, but like I told you, I thank the ancestors for, you know, we got to get that to the ancestors. I mean, I can take so much of it, but the majority of that goes to the ancestors because this is our information. So I'm just a medium, a vessel that's coming here every chance I get to help remind you what you already know. Your soul already know this. This is the only reason why you could sit in here and listen to it and be willing to learn more, to remember more, so I should say. Not learn. You're not learning anything because this information is already in you. So that's why, as always, we just helping you remember who you are. Keyword, remember. You already know. This is why you don't need no book. You don't need me. You don't need no prophets. You don't need nothing outside of yourself. Anything outside of yourself is only acting as a stimulant to stimulate ancient memories lying deep in your soul. So to all my peers, you know, I just want to say once again, if anything, I thank you for sharing this information. We need to spread the message far and wide, as far as we can spread it. That's what it's about right now. We need to use this tool they call social media and spread the information. A lot of our people just don't know. But right now, more will be willing to listen now than they was ever before. But it's not about saving anyone, but we do have a duty to spread this message. Because this is our information. This is our true history, and it's great. We are greatness. Nothing less. Despite what they told us we were. We are greatness. You are greatness. We sent you here great. You came here to do beautiful things. You're not ugly. You're not dumb. You're not lacking. None of you are. But they have you attuned to a frequency to make you believe that you are lacking. To all the blue crystal babies, because we know who the indigo children are. Anybody born after the year of 1950 on back to now is the indigo children. That's one whole race. You have your crystal babies, your rainbow babies, and your blue crystal babies. Crystals are your 50s and your 60s. The rainbow babies, 70s, 80s, 90s. Blue Crystal babies, born 2K on back to now. Appreciate you too. Those of you who would be considered 21 and under, Blue Crystal babies. The 20s really started 22 and up, 21 and under crystal babies. Blue crystal babies to be exact. Thank you for being in here. You could be on the video game, you could be running the street, but you're not. You're in here right now. You're in here every day. Spreading the information, awakening more of the youth. So we know how the future bright as this ember right here. We can see it. Why? I can see it because I see you. Y'all in here, y'all care. Hell, y'all care more than we cared at your age. That's how I know y'all more advanced than us. And I value each and every one of you. Every single soul whose avatar is younger than mine, I triple value you all because of the fact that y'all gonna be even stronger than our generation, than we are now. Because we are one whole generation, but you got your decades. So decade to decade, we get stronger and stronger and stronger. We are in this together. This is a fight we don't win if one person tries to be the leader or one person feel like they're not strong enough. We all strong enough. It doesn't take physical war to do what we're about to do. That's minuscule. So I say you keep your guns, but you won't need them. Not even gonna need them. Just standing together puts fear in their heart. We're reversing the fear, using their own poison against them. Fear was the only weapon they ever had. Our fear of what will happen if we don't abide by their rules. Now the same weapon that they've been shooting us with, is now coming to them. The fear is coming to them now because they see unity. They look in our eyes and they know we know what we are, who we are. They know we know that now. We remember now. They had us sleep. We remember now. We remember now. Galactic beings with luminous beings. Founders of creation herself. That's us. That's you. And I salute the divinity in you all. I love you like I love myself. Because when I look at you, I'm looking at myself. When I think of you, I'm thinking of self. If I help you, I help self. If I turn my back on you, I turn my back on self. If I talk bad about you, I talk bad about self. So I will never do that. Because I salute the divinity in you all. My soul recognizes that your soul and my soul and all of our souls are connected through the universal force called creation. I am you, you are me. There is no separation. Peace. Reflection. Literally. That's how you greet the soul. That's how souls should always greet each other. Because that's a universal truth. That's a cosmic truth. That greeting embodies the essence of what we are. So, Let every lesson be a memory, recanted from the soul. Let every lecture you hear, be it right here on the website, be it on YouTube, be it on Instagram, let it guide you back to you, the creator, which is you. Let it inspire you. Let it ignite your souls to move with no fear, only purpose and peace. In chaos. But we only use the chaos when need be. And right now, we in need be. Anybody who tells you peace without war is lying to you. Now, if they tell you we can get to peace, but we might have to go through war first, they're not lying to you. Because to believe that we will have peace, or you will have peace, you don't deserve peace right now. In that way of relaxing, it's too much work to do. Everything was taken from us. We just now remembering. We've been raped. You've been raped on every level. Castrated from your soul. We got a job to do. We the indigo children. We have to remember, Peter Pan, so we can fly again, Peter Pan. Been away from Never Never Land too long. In the Matrix, you forget how to fly. You forget who you are. Age is real. They rob you of your imagination. One of your most powerful tools is your imagination. Because in your imagination, you create whatever you want to create. You see how they slaughtered your imagination? If we live in a mental space, a mental world where you think everything into existence, because you created, imagination is a powerful tool now, isn't it? We live in a realm where you create anything you speak, anything you think. You are a magnet. You attract everything to you with your thoughts and your words because your soul is a magnet. The residue that the soul releases from this magnet is called magnesium, which is a high form of advanced metal particles flowing through your bloodstream. They won't tell you that. So if we live in a reality where you create everything around you, now do you see how powerful your imagination is? The McDonald's chant seems a lot more truthful now, don't it? Do you believe in magic? And I hope you do. And I hope you do. That's what they used to sing as a kid in the McDonald's commercials. Your imagination is everything. This is why you forgot about the Elves and the Gremlins. They are elemental beings. You forgot about the Elves, the Gremlins, the Trolls, the Gnomes, the Fairies. That was all a part of your imagination. As a child, you knew those beings to exist. So they had to show them to you. But once they were able to cross you over, after so many of spent so much time of spending years in their matrix, they killed your imagination. Ask a kid when they 6 what they want to be when they grow up. See how they say it, but watch how they light up when they say it, because they are already imagining what it is that they want to become. They already see it, so they light up. I want to be this. Now go ask somebody 24 what they want to do with their life, and watch how they look at the different energetic response you get. Don't listen to what they're saying. Look how the energy be different. We all go through this stage where we lose our, what they call our innocence, right? That's when they slaughtered your imagination. It was in the lost your innocence phase where your imagination became slaughtered. You were exposed to the matrix. But the imagination is where many of our ancient memories lie. This is why they was able to show us dragons as little kids. And we loved watching dragons. We used to watch the Magic School Bus. Something was so special about them shows as a kid to you, to your soul. Leprechauns. Remember the movie Leprechaun? Remember the leprechaun from the goddamn Lucky Charm box? All of those were elemental beings that actually exist. Now, you have elves, all right? You have a lot of different races of elves, and this is what they were showing you on what's that show? Not Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. Also on Star Trek. You have a lot of different elf species, all right? But the elves we talk about today, that I'm talking about now, you have the light elves. You have the light elves and the dark elves. The dark elves are the ones that are on Nern. These are the ones that created winter technology, sub-zero technology. For those of you who have been in the university since for 2 years now, you know I've spoken about this entire time. So you have the dark elves. They live on a planet called Nern. Okay, they bad. They created the winter technology. All right. They pale white, look just like regular elves with the pointy ears and everything, with the humanoid face, right? But they tall. And they wear all black latex suits. The dark elves. Now the light elves, these are the elves you think of when you think of Lord of the Rings. All right. Where they look just like us. They get married. They got families, responsibilities. These are the light. These are your light elves. Now the light elves are actually advanced beings, advanced in the mystical arts. All right, and you actually have realms. I spoke about the different realms on this planet, where the light elves have their own realm. All right, and although they are called light elves, it's really the complete opposite. The light elves look just like us. But you got different ones. So you got some of the elves, all right, which is where the story of the Smurfs come from. All right. Some of the elves have all blue skin. All right, this is where the Smurfs come from. Some of them have this type of skin because they too have been exposed to the oxygen because they live on a different realm within the planet. All right. And when they come in all different colors, just like black people do today, we got light skin, dark skin, right? The elves. These are the light elves. All right, the Smurf, with the character that the Smurfs are about, would actually be a part of the light elves. All right, no different than today. We all black, but then you got certain sections that's this. So imagine the elf kingdom is ran the same way. All right. As far as when they're showing you the elves having the pointy ears, that is a feature of elves. All right, that's a feature, as well as having the thick eyebrows that connect the unibrows. That's another one of their features. All right. But some of them have regular nails like we have, and some of them have the longer nails like you'll see like a witch have in cartoons. All right. This is the kingdom of the light elves. But they also They are called elemental beings because most of them can be found in nature. You can actually access the elf kingdom through many different parts of nature. All right. So sometimes they have stone entrances, like you can lift up whole stones. They go into portals under the stone to lead to their kingdom. You got different walk-ins out in mountain ranges. This is in certain places that they call mountain ranges in nature. This is why they don't let you go everywhere in nature. They have many different entrances to their kingdom scattered all throughout what we call the woods today. But these light elves, they work with the grass, they work with the soil, they work with, because there's all different type of microorganisms that make up the grass and make up the soil, and those are actual beings. Everything is alive. So the light elves are in charge of connecting with nature. All right, connecting with nature, tilling to the lands up here. They help till the lands of the earth. Them and the gnomes. Because the gnomes is basically like damn near like light elves too. The only difference is they live right here with us. The gnomes don't live in a different realm. But the light elves, because they work with nature all around the planet, they still come up back and forth to till to the lands of the soil. All right? They try to keep the balance of nature. They work hand in hand with nature. The light elves and the gnomes. But the gnomes actually, you can find gnome kingdoms in any forest. And they are not white, they black as well. I just want to show you the elves being little white people or the gnomes being little white people. They are not. These are organic, natural beings to the planet. They black like us. But the gnomes are very little too. They are elemental beings. The gnomes are very small. You feel me? Very small. They don't hit 3 feet. Them gnomes be between 6 inches and 36 inches. So sometimes they can hit 3 feet, but that's a big gnome when you have some like that though. But majority of the gnomes are very small. All right, they're like little action figures if you've seen them. So if you remember the movies like The Indian in the Cupboard back in the day. All right, movies like that is showing you, depicting the size of the gnomes and how small they are. All right, gnomes be all in your house. They come up in our houses and everything. They can teleport. They have all the abilities and they move around in your house. All right, but they move so fast. A lot of times people see them. You think them times when you thought you seen something out the corner of your eye and you look and ain't nothing right there. Them be gnomes. When you see stuff, I could swear I seen something move on the floor. They move so quick. But these are the elemental beings. Gnomes are on our side. They good. They high vibration. All the elemental, they are literally called the elemental beings. Gnomes, trolls, fairies, elves, all of them. All right, so they all work hand in hand. Now, the elves, on average, range from about 4 feet to 6 feet. All right? That's on average range for the light elves. So imagine black people. These are basically black. They black like us. All right? But the same way we got different shades and variations, so do they. These are the elves. Now, amongst the elves, you have a kingdom called the Gremlins. Now, they showed you the Gremlins in a movie called The Gremlins. All right? The Gremlins they showed in the movie Gremlins, the Gremlins look like that, but not as bad. And they not like in monster format, so they like stupid. They intelligent. All right? They intelligent. But they do look rough though. All right? Now, how do they become gremlins? The gremlins started off as light elves. All right? But remember, as above, so below. So within the elf kingdom, you had all these elves. When Zeus, like I said, when Zeus fell in frequency, he took everybody with him. That even down to the elemental being kingdom, it was those who left with him. Okay? It was those that left with him. So amongst the light elves, when this split came, you had those elves that was vibrating low, began to use all their mystical arts to do bad things on the planet. All right? Trying to help Satan, trying to help Zeus. Those light elves fell in frequency. All right? And because they fell in frequency, all right, they were cast out of the elf kingdom. No different than when we cast out, like I said, when they tell you a war broke out in heaven, a war broke out in heaven. This was heaven, though, right here on the planet. Wasn't no heaven. That was a war that affected us on every level. So, all those light elves that were cast out, the reason they started getting that harsh look to them, like, matter of fact, they look like the leprechaun they showed you in the movie Leprechaun, that's how the fucking gremlins look. Because the real leprechauns don't look like that. So when they showed you Leprechaun, they basically showed you a fucking gremlin. That's how they look. They look harsh. They look rough. All right? They very low vibrational. They very mean, right? They are basically able to be used as for the job of Zeus, Satan. So the gremlins, they actually exist. And they do a lot of negative things. A lot of negative things in nature to keep the balance offset. That's what the gremlins do. They don't bother us, but they bother nature. They try to bother the lions, the tigers, the bears, the wolves, the plants. That's what gremlins do. They destroy crops, vegetation, all the little stuff that you think don't matter, but it do matter. That's what gremlins do. They affect nature. So you got elves and you got gremlins. Gremlins used to be like elves, but they fell in frequency. Lost their magic, lost their majestic, beautiful aura they had. They don't have that glow no more. Like the light elves still have that glow. The gremlins don't. No different than when they try to talk about how when Satan and the angels left heaven, they lost their wings. These number stories are it's just symbology. It's just symbology, all right, for how the war affected us on many levels. So now that you know what the light elves are, you know what gremlins are, now we can talk about a species of being called the Yoda. So from the light elf kingdom, it was supposed to be no communication between either kingdom, the gremlins or the light elves. All right. But just like in the Pocahontas story, wasn't nobody from the Powhatan tribe supposed to make contact with the English settlement, but Pocahontas over there fucking John Smith all in the bushes. All right. That's how the story went. That story is just symbolic of no different than when we left the Watchers in charge to watch over the Moors and make sure that they reverse engineer these human beings the right way. What niggas do? Niggas, instead of watching them, niggas fucking them. Having sex with them, making babies with them. Now they telling them secrets, spells, enchantments, all type of powerful shit. Then look what happened. So you had the same thing that kind of took place between the light elves and the gremlins. All right, you had it's not really a word for her name in the English dictionary, but let's put it like this. You had, okay, so the gremlin kingdom is ran just like we run our kingdom. Elves the same way. So the only difference is they do move with a sense of hierarchy. So within the light elves kingdom, they got their king, they got their emperor, their empress, the royal court, all that. All right, gremlins pattern and the elves do the same thing. They got their king, royal court, all that. So basically, the daughter of the king of the gremlins was having an affair with one of the light elves. The light elf she was having an affair with, he wasn't like a child of none of the royals that was a part of the light elf kingdom. Just a regular light elf. Whereas she was the daughter of the king of the gremlins. So what basically they were having a relationship. All right, they was doing what motherfuckers ain't supposed to do. All right, I told you as above, so below. Like a lot of this information, these beings that exist, their history has been kept from us. But when you get into the stories of the history, you'll find out that it's just like our as above, so below. It's a real thing. as within, so without. So basically, these two came together, all right, and through their union, which wasn't supposed to take place, they had a child, right? And this child led to a whole new species being evolved called the Yoda. All right, light elf have a light elf mixed with a gremlin. They come together, they create a whole new species that's called the Yoda. That's what their baby was. So when you go watch Star Wars is when they calling him Yoda, all right? It's an actual species called the Yoda, all right? And they come from the linking between the light elves and the gremlins. The light elves and the gremlins. So in Star Wars, is when they showing you Yoda, although in the movie, the story that Yoda plays and he depicts, you know, the robe and his wisdom, him being a Jedi Knight, that represents the Moors. The story is the Moors, okay? Hear me clearly. The story is the Moors' story of how in Star Wars, Yoda he has all this intelligence. He's an advanced Jedi Knight trying to teach a human being, Luke Skywalker, how to become a Jedi Knight, how to learn all this magic. All right? So that whole story is about how the Moors were left in charge of the human beings. But the way Yoda looks, that's how the Yoda look. All right? And the Yoda, remember, because the light elves deal with, all the elemental beings deal with magic as well. It's a thing that we do on the realm. The only people not dealing with magic anymore right now mostly has been us because it was taken from us. Everybody else deals with this. And the magic that leprechauns have and light elves, that's nothing compared to the magic you have because we created all these beings. Remember that. But the way Yoda looked, that's how the Yoda actually looked. All right? And the Yoda being not aligned to either kingdom, all right? These mystical beings still live amongst us as well. But they keep themselves out of any affairs dealing with the planet. Just like they showed Yoda in Star Wars, they really liked it. They real humble, very wise, very in tune with the mystic arts. They got that from the elf side, the high vibrational side. The gremlin side of them only leads to their look. So if you go look at Yoda, he got the funny look. He still got the pointy ears, like elves, but he look kind of funny, right? Like disfigured a little bit. They get that from their gremlin side, but they have none of the gremlin side ways. The Yoda don't have none of the ways, none of the low vibrational ways of moving on a negative frequency. They all high frequency. They get that strictly from the elf side of them, but they actually exist. So that's why on this thumbnail, I said elves and gremlins, and then I had a picture of Yoda. Because Yoda would be an example of the elf gremlin mix that came together that formed the species called the Yoda. And that's why even if you look at Star Wars, Yoda whole species, they all got different names. All of them do. Grugo, it's a lot of their ass. That's Yoda's species. But if you go look up Star Wars, they'll try to tell you they don't know where Yoda's species came from. The Yoda actually exists. And like the shamans in Africa, they be walking on the fire. That's who they deal with. They deal with different They deal with a species called the Yoda. A lot of them deal with the Yoda and get their guidance from them. You feel me? They don't be telling the public that, but a lot of them do though. They deal with these elemental beings. They are called the Yoda, elves, light elves to be specific, fairies, trolls, gnomes, all elemental beings. Leprechauns, dwarves, all that's real. Dwarves are also part of the elemental beings. The people that they show you say dwarf people, they're not the real dwarves. These are all elemental beings that exist. So, it's imperative that you understand who these beings are, get familiar with these beings, and know that they do exist. The shamans, you can go pull up videos right now. Certain spiritual ceremonies they do in Africa, you'll see things that they call supernatural. But guess what? People don't understand it, so they'll just think it's fake. It's a video floating right now over there where they was levitating, and people he was upside down. He's holding on to a wire. See, they didn't want to believe it. All the comments, he's holding on to a wire. Right? Because of the lies that we've been taught over here. The Buddhist monks, the real ones, the Vietnamese, the Laos, the Philippines, those monks, they go in deep meditations. And when they doing all these, the levitation and all of that, who do you think they learn that from? The Yoda. These beings come to us. There's many people who have said they have seen little green men before. But if you scared of them, they not. They very peaceful beings. But they will appear to you and show themselves. Definitely if you're doing a meditation in nature and you're aware of their presence and you tap into it. All the elemental beings operate like that. Go back and watch all your old movies about fairies and gnomes, and it's all going to come down to, you got to believe in them, or you can't be mean to them, or there's always something like that for you to see them, right? Mm-hmm. We just bring it true. We got Orula up here with us today. He's the oracle of divination. The Orisha of divination. So basically he works like an oracle. Yeah, I'm sitting up here. That's the energy I felt to bring him on. But these things need to be exposed. These things need to be talked about. This is all part of all being revealed. Elves, real. Gremlins, real. Gremlins used to be elves. But they fell in frequency, though. Now they like to keep up chaos and keep shit going. They also sometimes help the elites get adrenochrome, scaring kids. The Gremlins do. They very mischievous. Fell in frequency. And from one of the Gremlins messing with one of the light elves, that's how the whole species of the Yoda was created. But yeah, I know it's Friday. I want to touch on this download real quick. We got class tomorrow. We've been having class all week. We back in class next week. Y'all see the schedule, man. Peace to the guys and goddesses of Planet Kai. All right. Peace to the guys and goddesses of Planet Kai. Enjoy.